Welcome to Keiser Voices, the story of success, brought to you by Keiser University Graduate School, here where the academic world meets personal triumph. Join us today as we dive into the captivating tales of success.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Keiser Voices. We are wrapping up our conversations on Hispanic Heritage Month and its importance. And what a better way to do so by celebrating 20 years of the Latin Division here at Keiser University. So joining us is Dean Lina Rodas. Dean Lina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Heather, for having us. We're very happy to celebrate this 20th anniversary with the Latin Division.
We've seen, you and I haven't been here the whole 20 years, but we've been here with the Latin Division for a while now.
Yes.
Myself, I've been here over 10 years. You're coming close to 10 years. So there's been a lot of growth. And in this time frame, we've seen impact, we've seen stories and legacies being made. But can we go back to the beginning of the Latin Division? And can you tell us just a little bit about how the Latin Division came to be? And, what was the inspiration or why did it even come up 20 years ago?
So it all started in 2005, and this sounds like a storytelling, the part of a storytelling, the beginning of this story, once upon a time. But it started with the vision of Dr. Keiser, Dr. Arthur Keiser, who decided back then, 20 years ago, when we just started using the internet and there wasn't a lot of fuss about online programs, let alone programs in Spanish. He had the vision of bringing these programs that we already had in English, now replicated to Spanish, so that we can impact the Hispanic community. So back then, the Latin Division opened and was founded in July 5th, 2005. And it started with Dean Sandra Portamerida under her leadership and the leadership of VC Sherry Olson, our vice chancellor. And they started working on opening the programs. We just began with one the bachelor's in business administration, with one student, one admissions counselor, and that happened for a while. And then, like as the time went by and people realized that there were some programs that were offered in Spanish in a high quality university, then the voice got around and we expanded to students that were in Puerto Rico and in other countries, and it just grew because the community was already here and they wanted to study in the United States. They had migrated from other countries here and they didn't really have the opportunity to study in Spanish. So after that, for many years, Dean Sandra was our Dean of Academics. Then she retired and Dr. Norma Pastor came on board. And with her, our expansion grew, like our programs grew even more. We opened all the line for psychology, since bachelor's, master's, PhD in psychology. We partnered with HACU. So the Latin Division is part of a HACU. It has a HACU membership because it's a university that offers services to the Hispanic community and many more opportunities that were open to our community. And then after that, a year and a half, something like that, I came on board. And it has been great. Now I have an associate dean, Dean Karina Bejarano. We work through all the departments, not only our faculty, of course, but then we have admissions, registers. We have someone from the Latin Division in each one of the departments. So when our students come into the class and they enroll with us, they can actually talk to someone in Spanish all throughout the university, which I think is great. And it has made us who we are right now, and we are stronger than ever before.
We've talked to Dean Karina. We had her on. She talked to us about the podcast. We had Gisela Tamayo, who's the Associate Director for Student Services for the Latin Division, who talked a little bit about, like that after moment and her story. But one thing I really don't think we've talked too much about is about the legacy of the students. I don't think we have done justice to their stories. So the stories that we've seen with a lot of our students, we've had Dean Pastor, now campus president Pastor, in the past to talk about this, is oftentimes this population, specifically from the Latin Division, they were well-established business owners, doctors, thriving in their chosen industries and their countries where they, were living. And then when they come to the US, they have to start over.
Mm-hmm.
They can't just pick up where they left off. They have to go
Yes.
back to school. If they have a medical degree, they still have to go back and get a US equivalency. And that's a constant struggle that we see impacting, our students that we serve from the Latin division.
Mm-hmm.
But the Latin division has helped to positively impact the students and through that the faculty and even the broader community. Can you talk on that a little bit for us?
The impact of the Latin division, I think, even when we know so much about, because you have been here with us as well for so many years, and you work with us endlessly in all the initiatives that we have for the Latin division. Even when we know so much of our impact, there are so many other things that we don't know about how we impacted someone's life. And it starts with how our culture here, meaning in the organization, faculty, people from other departments, the deans, admissions, everybody has that genuinely interest to help the student from the Latin division. And I think it's even more pronounced because it's our community. So we take pride in all of the relationships that we build with them. If there is an opportunity that we can get for them, we work even harder to get it done. If there is an opportunity to showcase what we're doing for the Hispanic Heritage Month, for all the events that we have, maybe the opportunities in the scholarship, we will do everything to make sure. And I think that's part of our culture too, that we want to highlight what's good about it. um, and then the students, as a result, they benefit from it. And when they see everything that we're doing for them, and they see how the faculty are really trying to give them really good courses, really good classes, a delivery, they get that, and they might be able to then transform their workplace or the initiatives that they have in their communities. Or if they have an idea about a project or something like that, they go back to the professor and they call them, and they'll make collaborations, because we had a lot of students who partner with their professors. We had a lot of professors who take them in conferences in different countries, or they partner together and they tell them about, listen, I have a project, I want to open a business, what do you think about this? So all of this is happening in the back, but slowly is what makes the student say, okay, I also want to give back to the Latin division by giving back to my family, my workplace, the people, my colleagues, everybody that I work with. And so I think that that's the impact. You just
Mm.
you just spread your hard work, and it's noticed by them, and then as a result they spread it to the ones that they have relationships and collaborations with.
What achievements or initiatives over the past 2 decades are you most proud of?
I hate it. We have a lot of things that we have done, which I think, oof, are worth mentioning. Uh, but, and however, I think the most proud that I'm of is the resilience that our faculty, many things, but the resilience that our faculty has had to showcase. We constantly go through many changes in online campus. The Blackboard changed. The systems have changed. The way we follow up with the students changed. The generation, the expectations from our students have changed.
Mm.
And um, we have, and I always tell them, you can be a great professor today, and that might not mean that you are a great professor 20 years from now, because 20 years from now, everything will be changing as well. So that resilience and that capability of being able to handle changes and build from it is what's making us really good. And right now, I think we have a great team in all of the meetings that we go to, with the students and with the professors. You can feel it, that they're always willing and eager to help and support what is it that we can do. This is an initiative that I have. I want to open a magazine for my students to contribute to. I want to do this conference. Like, you breathe it. And that's what I think is I'm more proud of, that we have been able to maintain and even develop even more the culture that we already have. I'm also proud that we have opened new programs almost every year throughout the last maybe 5 years. We continue to open programs and they continue to be successful. We currently have around 800 students in the Latin division when we just started with 120 years ago. Eh, and they're active, the ones that have graduated, oof, even way more, and they keep on coming back. That's something that I'm also proud of. Every month, maybe 30 or 40% of the students that enrolled with our programs are students that graduated from us as well. So they keep on returning, coming back because they loved what they saw and they want to continue with us. So that's something to be proud of too.
That's amazing.
Mm.
And I know you talked a lot about your faculty, and they're wonderful. I've met them all. I
You
know
know.
almost all of them. I love them
Uh-huh.
to death. They're fabulous individuals. But I want to talk a little bit about you as well, and your legacy so far as a dean. Um, for them, there's resilience, but there's also resilience and changes for you. What lessons have you learned during your time with the Latin division?
Ay. During this time, I used to be a perfectionist. I think that a very good leader it has that trait. I think you have it too. You know, like we're very detail oriented because we have a lot of things to handle at the same time. But throughout the time, I think that one of the things that I've learned is that I'm not looking for perfection. We are looking for genuine care, for those soft skills. I used to hire and value a lot the credentials, which are very important, of course, but you need to have both a balance of, okay, your credential, of course, you need to have everything that you need to have accomplished to get into the team. But those soft skills, are you approachable? Are you eager to learn? Are you eager to receive feedback? Do you have your team's back? Or are you constantly criticizing people? Those skills are the ones
Mm,
that are even more valuable sometimes than those titles and diplomas. So throughout the time, looking or surrounding myself with team, trying to make my team um, have those skills where they listen to each other and they're a teammate, they're a true teammate. I think that that's one of the things that I've learned throughout this time being a dean. Constantly listening to them, active listening is important. Knowing when to talk and when not to talk, even when I want to talk. Being assertive, I think that that's super important. Knowing when and how, even when, because everybody has feelings, and you might be upset or you might be extra happy, and there are some situations where you just need to know how to and when to talk to someone about it. So those are things that you learn through experience, and this experience of being a dean has taught me a lot.
and the Latin Division podcast is doing fantastic. Dean Karina spoke to us a little bit about it. Um, Miss Adriana Lobo, who's the producer
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes of this podcast, actually acts as the host on that podcast with you guys. So it's great to get her in front of a camera and see her and out in front instead of in the back. But you
Mm-hmm.
have the conference, you have the podcast, which one of the episodes recently went viral. Um, you've added a couple new programs this year, expanded the doctoral offerings. Within that, you're exploring new programs, what the future of education looks like for the Latin division. What is next? What's that vision for the next chapter of the Latin division?
Heather, we're not stopping. So you have a lot of work to do with me. And I have to take this moment to really thank you because every time, I mean, for the ones that don't know, we're neighbors. So every time I have an idea, we have something coming up, we have an initiative, I always ask Heather for help, and she not only helps but extends the help and helps us truly with everything that we want to accomplish. We're like machines; we don't stop. There is always something. There is always something building, something coming up, and that's gonna be the same thing hopefully throughout the years. That's once you have that culture and that mentality, it doesn't stop. You add it, and it's natural that the people that come into the team, they would just replicate whatever everybody else is doing. It's just how humans work. So when you go into a team and you see that everybody's doing something, that everybody's throwing ideas, that actually those good ideas are being received and are being organized and implemented, then that's something that motivates you to do more of that. Um, Throughout the next 20 years, of course, more programs are going to open. We are going to hopefully have even more students graduating from us and coming to our programs. I really want our students to eventually be able to um, continue their studies and then at the same time learn English so that when they finish their programs, they can have their diploma, have their skills in English so that they can be even more marketable when they finish and graduate. But more than that, it's like I was telling in my last meeting with my faculty, when you go into a restaurant that you always grew up with in your neighborhood and you go there and they know your name and they go there and say, hey there, what are you're going to have the same today? So here they see you in your favorite table. They know you. That feeling, I don't want it to go away with the Latin division. Our faculty, the people, our students' names. Dean Karina, every time that they come to my office, like, oh, Leonardo, the person that did this, everybody knows their story. So it's the same, that's the same idea that I would like to carry out through the years with growth and with everything else that comes with that, but keeping that, which is what has made us very successful throughout the years.
That's amazing. I think that's easy to see being accomplished for the Latin division, and hopefully in 20 years on a podcast, whether it's us or somebody else, that update's being provided that yes, the last time at the 20th anniversary, we've accomplished that by the 40th anniversary. And for everybody's convenience, links to the podcast for the Latin division will be included in the comments below as we look to wrap up the month-long celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. But our celebration of the Latin division and its legacy, growth, and impact will continue on through the rest of the year and into the future with Dean Lina, Dean Karina, Miss Tamayo, Dr. Larea, whom you all met, and all the other individuals that we don't get the opportunity to always feature. So take a listen to that Latin Division podcast, and just follow us on social media, follow the Latin Division on social media to keep up with all the amazing things that they're doing, their students are doing, the faculty are doing, and the community is doing. But thank you, Dean Lina, for joining us and helping us celebrate 20 years of the Latin Division.
Thank you, Heather, so much for having us. We're almost adults. We're 20 years. Next year, we're going to be 21. So we're there and very, very happy of our 20 years and then the next 20 years to come. So thank you for your invitation.
And if you guys have enjoyed this conversation, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow, and continue listening to Keiser Voices as we talk about what's important for you guys and important to us here at Keiser. But we hope to catch you on the next one.
Thank you for journeying with us today on Keiser Voices, the story of success. As we close this chapter, remember, every story has its next page.